Hey, what's up everybody? It is Uncle Matt here, and as you can see from me being back in the home studio, we have officially returned to Nashville from our trip to the Dominican Republic, sadly. But we had a great time down there, and as I mentioned in the last vlog from the trip, I wanted to do kind of a final wrap-up summary, tips, tricks, rankings, best things we did, worst things we did, skip this, do that type of video, just to kind of sum everything up and kind of wrap the trip up in a nice little bow here for you today. So that's what we're going to do here today. Jesta was going to join me for this because obviously she has a lot more opinions and is a lot more in-depth information on what all goes into these Bahia trips that we take, because she's the main brains behind the operation. But she's got a little bit of that post-travel ick, you know, we all get it from time to time. I had a little bit of it coming back from London a few weeks back, so she's sitting this one out, but I did get her to fill out a little survey of questions that I wanted to address in the vlog, so I've got her answers here, and I'm sure she can jump in at some point in time and share some more information, jump in the comments and let me know what I misspoke about, what I was wrong about here. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I'm going to try to keep this short and to the point, but if you watched any of my videos where I'm talking to the camera, there's a good chance I'm just going to start rambling and get completely off track here. But I wanted to do this because one thing we've learned over these last it's our third Bahia trip that we've documented on the vlog. People actually watch these videos to get information for their own trips. It's not something I really took into account the first time we went on the vlog to Cien Con and the Mexican resort for that vacation there. But last year, Jamaica, I learned that. I was like, I got all these questions from people who on the Cien Con videos, like, hey, what was this like? What was this like? So last year, Jamaica, try to be more informative, try to give more opinions, try to give more actual reviews as opposed to just document what I was doing as much as we did during Cien Con. And so tried to do that on this trip, but thought now that we're done, wrap everything up in a nice bow, sum it up, and kind of, if you haven't watched the whole videos, if you watch the videos and want to get kind of a wrap up, that's what this is here for. I'm already rambling. I said I wasn't going to ramble, and I'm already rambling. Alright, so start off, give a quick little background about our trips to Bahia Principe Resorts. If you haven't watched the previous series or missed any of the videos where we explained this, we started going together, me and Jesta, to Bahia Principe Resorts for our honeymoon in 2016. We actually went to the Punta Cana Resort on that trip. Had a great time, enjoyed our time there. They kept trying to get us to go see the Privilege Club presentation, which we kind of was like, oh, that's their timeshare, we don't want to do that, we don't want to do that. But they're like, you get this huge free gift basket if you do the presentation, you don't have to commit to anything. So we put it in our back pocket and said, if we do have a rainy day or a crappy day or a day where we can't go out and really do anything at the pool or the beach or anything like that, we'll go do the presentation just to get the free gifts and just be like, ah, suckers, we got you. So I think it was Thursday of that week. This is long before we were doing the vlog. We go, we do the presentation, it's pouring down rain, trapped in this little office, go sit through the presentation, and then they sit us down with a salesperson. He's this big French Haitian gentleman who's trying to pitch us, and we were just stonewalled. I'm probably on my phone not paying attention at all because just as the brains behind their operation and everything we do here, but she's just no, just stonewall him at every turn. And I don't remember if he walked away or if somebody came and got him, but they replaced him mid sales pitch and they were geniuses for this. They went and got a guy who either was from New York or just looked like a movie character from New York. Was like, hey, what are you doing over here? Hey, I'm Joey from the Bronx. Oh, you're from West Point? Oh, forget about it, to Jesta. And I was sitting there and I immediately was like, we're gonna get a freaking timeshare, aren't we? Anyway, fast forward, they go through the whole presentation, go through the whole deal. Jessica talks them down, they go through the price, they go through a whole deal of everything with the Bahia Privilege Club, which is their vacation club, timeshare, whatever you want to call it, type deal. And she was still stonewalling. She did a really good job, and she eventually got it to a price where she's like, well, this makes sense. Let's do this. So what Bahia Privilege Club is and why it's different from normal timeshares, this is going to feel like a sales pitch. Now I'm doing a sales pitch. Dadgummit. It's not points based. It's not limited. You're basically prepaying for your vacations. So we knew we were going to be coming back to Bahia. We knew we were going to be going to different resorts, and the fact that we could just go ahead and prepay that, get it at a discounted rate, but also get enrolled in the Privilege Club, which gets you this fancy beige wristband, and the benefits that come with that, we're like, well, this just makes sense if we know we're going to do it anyway. It doesn't have the restrictions that some. You don't have a home resort that you have to go to. You don't have points per year that you have to use. You basically are prepaying for a set of weeks, and you can use those weeks as you go. Once again, this is something Jesta might need to jump in the comments and correct me and tell me how wrong I am about all this. But I think another reason it worked for us, where it might not work for others, was Jesta, brains of the operation, was able to get it to a price where she could pretty quickly pay it off, to where it was just paid for, donezo. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's not like a financial burden that's like hanging over us. We've got our weeks paid for. We pay the yearly like maintenance fee, and then we pay whatever the all-inclusive fee is for the trips that we actually go on. So it works out pretty good in that regard. I think one thing they always try to pitch people on that I've seen is probably not true, and Jess has mentioned is not true. They will try to tell you that, like, oh, we can get you discounted flights and stuff like that, and that's not really the case. I mean, and that might have been the case, like, back in 2016 when we first signed up, but like flights have gotten so insane now, it's probably just something they can't do anymore. But there's also like a weird like RCI package where they can get you like discounted rates at like hotels that aren't Bahia hotels. We didn't really tap into that, but I've seen other people have and have gotten some pretty good results for that, so teach their own. Anyway, that's just a little spiel of how we got involved in Bahia Privilege Club. You get benefits on there. Obviously, you get private cards that'll take you from spot to spot around the resorts. You get more a la carte reservations, although we've gone back and forth. We're not sure if that's a Privilege Club benefit or if that's a benefit of staying at the luxury resorts. I think it's been both at different times, so I don't know what it is now, but you get high-end liquor at the Privilege Club bars, so as opposed to like whatever you get in the all-inclusive resort, you get whatever the house liquor is, so it'd be like some vodka you've never heard of that they have below the bar, but you can go to the Privilege Club bar and get like Absolute or Grey Goose if you're a drinker, which I am not. So a few benefits there. You also have like a concierge that helps you with stuff. Your check-in is much smoother because you go to the private Privilege Club check-in area as opposed to like the main like crazy lobbies that we've showed in some of the videos. So it has its benefits outside of that, and it's kind of like if you know you're going to go and you're going to go, we knew we were going to take these trips, so it wasn't like we were getting like locked into something we weren't going to do anyway. I don't know. I may have just rambled along and made it not make sense, but that's basically how we got into the Privilege Club. So all these Bahia trips we've done have been a part of the Privilege Club. So this year, for the first time since I believe 2018, we returned to the Bahia Resort in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. This is where things get a little mixed up. I think we've always stayed in Ambar, but they've shifted what Ambar was. I believe the first time we went, what was the Ambar Resort has now been rebranded as Aquamarine, and they converted another area to be an Ambar. I might have messed that up, but I'm trying to do the best I can on this without Jesta here to help me. But this is the resort we went to the second time we went to Punta Cana, was this newer version of Ambar with the swim-up rooms. Awesome, can't recommend that enough. Like, I mean, the swim-up rooms are just like a game changer, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But great resort, had a great time there. Couldn't speak highly about it. If you haven't watched the videos from this trip yet, you can just go back and see how happy we were, how much we enjoyed this trip. Can't speak highly enough about it. So I'm gonna stop rambling because I could just like ramble for hours and not get to any coherent points. I want to get to the actual points, the actual things. So I'm going to go to Jesta's writing to make sure I get some actual logical things out there. So I asked Jessica a few questions, like give me these answers and we'll play off these. I can go from these. So the first thing I asked her was, what was your favorite thing we did? She said, the a la carte dinners, I like how we ordered different than usual. So if you watch the videos, we went to the a la carte dinners. We got an a la carte dinner every night, which once again, I can't remember if that's a part of the luxury package or part of the Privilege Club package, but typically the way it usually works outside of that is you get like 3 a la carte dinners, and then you would just do the buffet nights for your other dinners. But either because we're in Privilege Club or because we were in a luxury resort, we got to do 7 a la carte dinners, which a la carte dinner is basically where you go more of a traditional menu. It's like a prefix menu. You've got 3 choices of appetizers, 3 choices of, entrees, and then dessert selections. And she said she enjoyed that, we were kind of in our routines a lot of these trips, but this one, we tried some different things. We did some different things. We looked outside of the comfort zone, like the limbo videos. You go back to the limbo videos. The second limbo video, we just ordered completely opposite of what he ordered the first, time, just because we wanted to try new things. So that's her answer, the a la carte menus and trying the different things there than what we've tried before. Hers was especially beneficial because she was trying stuff she would never try outside of that situation. She tried like the tuna tartaki, beef tartare, like these kind of like scary like raw meat dishes that you might not normally order if you're having to pay like $20 for an appetizer at a regular restaurant, whereas you're at an all-inclusive resort, everything's already paid for. You're just like, yeah, who cares? Order this, I don't like it, whatever, no big deal. She took a chance on those, enjoyed them across the board. I'm sure she could speak more to that if she was here, but I know that was a big thing. It was a big hit for her, was she tried several things she wouldn't normally try, and they turned out to be pretty good for her. My answer to this, my favorite thing we did, I kind of alluded to this earlier, is a swim up room. Like, that is just such a game changer, such a great thing to have as a part of your vacation, because it's like the ultimate, you know, people who are a little bit more extroverted, who like want to go do more of the activities, you know, there's always like events going on at the pool, there's always like little party things going on at the room, you know, people who are into that, there's plenty of stuff to do. But me and Jessica are a little bit more introverted. I don't know if you can tell that from the videos, which is a weird thing for us to be making videos when we're actually kind of a little bit introverted. So having like our own little kind of private pool area that we could like retreat to at any point in the day if we wanted to was just such a game changer. We did it for the first time in 2018. And I was like, that was my favorite thing about that resort. I was like, we got to go back there soon. We got to go back there soon. And it took us till 2023 to get back there. But that was my favorite thing, was having our own little private kind of area, which the pools connect. So you're not exactly fully private, but different than like, you know, going and having to fight for like a lounge chair by the actual pool. Love that. There's rumors, according to Justin, according to some of the posts on some of the Facebook pages that follow Bahia stuff, that some of the renovations at the resort in Mexico are leading towards having swim-up rooms at possibly Acamel down there. Fingers crossed, because that would be super awesome there. But yeah, for me, that was my favorite thing about the whole trip, is I love the rooms with the swim-up kind of room, the swim-up pool, the private pool, whatever you want to call it. My favorite thing by far. I asked Jessica, what was the best benefit of having the Privilege Club benefits? And she said it's having a private beach area with a private beach attendant. And I would probably agree with her on that regard, because we, you know, not that the beach area is like, I didn't really notice that like the area around ours wasn't anything like any particular issue, but like we had the same dude every day who was like in our area that was like coming to ask if we wanted drinks, ask if we needed new towels. His name was Philip. You know, having that like personal touch, that guy you get to know. Like I kind of in the videos compared some of it to like what I've seen from cruises, where you usually have the same waiter, the same housekeeping people, you have the same staff that you're kind of like getting to know and getting accustomed to throughout the week. So like by day 2, you know, if you're a drinker, they know your drink order, they know your food orders, they know stuff like that. It kind of makes everything smoother and a better experience. And then just, you know, kind of knowing you have that kind of private area that's like just for you, just for people that are kind of in that group, and you can go there as opposed to having to go to like the more populated areas and have to fight a little bit more for a beach chair or something like that. That's just an awesome feature of the Privilege Club, and so I probably would agree with her in that regard. Next up, I asked her something we should have skipped, and this is a funny one. This was typical us. Like, we tried to do some outside the box things, some things we don't normally do, try to be a little bit more adventurous. We went to a cocktail workshop. That's what it was listed as on like the event schedule for the day. You can go back, it was in one of the videos. I think it was like the first full day video that we were there. There was supposed to be a cocktail workshop by the pool day 1. Went to that. Turned out, I think they had just rearranged things around the schedule, because we looked at the schedule and later in the week there's supposed to be like a history of rum presentation, and we think we got the history of rum presentation when it was supposed to be the cocktail workshop, because basically all it was they explained these different types of rum they had and then made us take shots of the rum. So her answer was cocktails that were just shots as something we should have skipped, which I would probably concur with her on that. I'm trying to think if I have a different answer. Let me think. What did I think? Is there anything we did that we probably should have skipped? I would say, all right, so she talked about a little bit about this in one of the videos, was the restaurants that were outside of the luxury resorts, for the a la carte restaurants, had a little bit of a dip in quality compared to the restaurants that were at the luxury resorts. We did Maiko, which was like a hibachi restaurant, which I wanted to do. That was probably me gung-ho being like, hibachi, it'll be so much fun, hibachi, be so much fun. And it was good. Food was good, everything was great, everything was good, but comparing that restaurant to what we got at like Limbo, what we got at like Meat, what we got at Portofino, it was good. It was really, really good. But if I had to do over again, I would have switched out Maiko for another luxury restaurant, just because the, you know, nostalgia, the flair of seeing a hibachi meal didn't outweigh the quality and the flavors and the taste and the high quality we got at places like Portofino, Meat, and Limbo. So I probably would have switched out Maiko for another one of the luxury resort restaurants if I could have done that over. So that would be my change. Something you wish we had done, and I'm going to agree with Just on this one, more shows. We only went to one show. This has been something that was like some of our favorite stuff on previous trips, like even like ones that we haven't documented. Like I mentioned the Lion King show. I mentioned there was a Michael Jackson show that we saw at one point in time that was incredible. just the care and the desire these people put into putting on these shows is incredible. And the only one we checked out was the magic show, which wasn't actually a magic show. It was just like, sometimes things get lost in translation, I think, there. And so it was more of a dance show where we were like, want to see like ladies get their heads cut off and then put back on or something like that, I guess. But we should have gone to more shows. We definitely should have. But that is kind of, I think, one of the issues there is because we do the a la carte restaurant every night, you kind of get restricted on being able to go to the shows, because the shows are usually at like 8 or 9 o'clock or, you know, times around there. And most of our a la carte reservations were at 7. So by the time we got done with dinner, it was like 8, 8:30. And we were usually at one of the luxury resorts, and most of the shows are at the big Bavaro Theater on that area. So then we'd have to like go all the way over there to try to catch the show. So it became more of like a hassle post dinner to go all the way over there for stuff. So maybe if we'd done buffets where we could have gone whenever we wanted and then walked over, as opposed to like the dinner reservations always being kind of like right around 7, being done right around 8, 8:30, that probably restricted a little bit of our freedom to go over there to the Bavaro Theater to see stuff, but which I wish we had done more of, because those are always really good, really entertaining. And I think one thing we kind of missed out on, one thing I didn't fully appreciate going back to our CN Con trips, which you can go back, that was 2 years ago, that trip. They did like mini versions of the show in like the lobby area at CN Con. And I think they did that because CN Con is so far removed from the rest of the resort in Mexico that they have to do more there in the actual lobby, in the actual like that resort, as opposed to like you being able to go to like other parts of the resort to see stuff. So there wasn't as much of that at Luxury Ambar, because I think they were just like, oh, well, you could just walk over to Bavaro and see stuff there. We don't have to put on like a big show in the Ambar lobby, because you can just walk over to Bavaro and see the shows there. But we definitely agree with Jess that we probably should have done more shows, because those are just like, they're always a fun way to end your night too, because there's like entertaining every time. Last thing I asked Jess to give me, oh, let me go back to this. I asked her to give me her rankings of the a la carte restaurants that we did for the trip. We did an a la carte dinner all 7 nights, but we only did 6 restaurants because we did Limbo twice. So these are Jessica's rankings. She goes Limbo number 1, Portofino number 2, Olivio number 3, Maiko number 4. Now I'm getting a little shocked here. Meat 5, Rodizio 6. All right, that's our rankings. Here's my rankings. I would go Limbo number 1, Portofino number 2, Meat number 3, Maiko number 4, Rodizio number 5, Olivier number 6. But I think the big difference is I didn't like what I ordered at Olivier. She really did. And I think the mistake I made at Olivier, and I made it on the second time we went to Limbo, is ordering fish. Don't know why. Don't know what the deal is. But for whatever reason, every time we got like a fish meal, like a main course fish, because she got a main course fish at Limbo the second time also, and had the same kind of reaction, was it just seems under seasoned. And I think part of the problem is, this is the theory I've come up with since then, is that they rely heavily on their sauces for their meals there, and not so much on like actually seasoning the meat. And when you're doing beef, something that has a lot of natural flavor in it, you can get away with just having a nice sauce on it. You don't have to, like, you can get away with not putting a lot of seasoning on the meat. But fish, which doesn't have as much natural flavoring because there's not the fat content in it, you gotta season it. You gotta have that salt, you gotta have that pepper, you gotta have that spice, you gotta have that seasoning on it. The sauce can only do so much. The sauces were good on the fish I had, but once you got to the fish underneath, you could tell the fish was just kind of a bland piece of fish. So if I'd ordered something better than fish at Olivier, I probably would have had it higher in my rankings there, but that's is what it is. So just an advice there. I would go beef or lamb or, you know, the more, you know, flavorful meats, because they seem to lack seasoning on like the seafoods and maybe even the chicken, like stuff like that needs that extra seasoning on its own there. So a little extra tip there. Final thing I ask her, now that we've been through the cycle, we've done the 3 big resorts. I think the 3 like main resorts, like they have others that we haven't been to, the Bahia chain obviously. But we have done the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, we've done Mexico, Riviera Maya, and Jamaica Runaway Bay. They have 2 other resorts in Dominican Republic that we haven't done, Samana and La Romana. I don't know much about La Romana. Samana is one we talked about and we had some people comment about in one of the videos, that it's got just like an absolute gorgeous beach, maybe the best beach in the whole chain. And then their other 2 are Tenerife and Mallorca, which I believe are both in Spain. Okay, this is why I try not to ramble too much. Battery just died. I don't know when it died, so I'm just gonna jump back in. Justa gave me her resort rankings, and she did them by the specific hotel we stayed in. She ranks #1, and I would agree with this, Ambar, Luxury Ambar, the resort we just finished our trip at Punta Cana, Dominican Republic Resort. Those swimming rooms are just a game changer. Like, you can't beat those. #2, she did Cien Can, the jungle resort we stayed in Mexico. I love that place, the kind of seclusion. It's more relaxed. If you're like us and you kind of want to just relax on your vacation, you don't necessarily want to get into the party scene and stuff like that, it's probably the best. If they had swim-up rooms at Cien Can, I don't know that I'd ever go anywhere else. #3, she's got Akumal, which is kind of like the Ambar of the Mexican resort, but without the swim-up rooms, but there's rumors it's being renovated to add the swim-up rooms, so we may need to get back there in the future if that's the case. Then she's got Aquamarine, which I believe her and Sissy did a trip together to at one point in time at Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And then finally, sadly, if you've watched the video series of these, you know, last, Runaway Bay, Jamaica. And I hate to just keep, like, you know, harping on that, but I think, you know, we don't harp on it to be like, you know, annoying people like, oh, we should get the best service in the world and we should get all these special things. Like I said, when starting with Jamaica and then into this video, I tried to like share our actual thoughts, our actual opinions, our actual reviews, what actually happened on the trip. And we had a less than ideal experience in Jamaica last year, and that's probably why there was a little bit more negative connotation on those videos than there has been on the others. But I think it shows, you know, just how positive we've been about, you know, Cien Can, how positive we've been about Ambar, that, you know, there was something a little off for whatever reason about the Jamaican trip, because that was my whole thing. Like, I don't necessarily think it was a bad place. I don't necessarily think I would tell people don't go there. But compared to what we've experienced at the other resorts, it's just like night and day how much better Punta Cana and how much better Maya Riviera have been for our trips than Jamaica was. Jamaica, beautiful hotel, beautiful scenery, although some of it was a little shabby, a little bit more run down in some areas, but the island itself, the place itself, gorgeous, beautiful. The resort experience, not so much. So I'm just going to rank the 3 resorts just based on my 100% love them. I think Punta Cana, just, you know, Ambar, the whole place, I like it because it's very similar to Cien Can and Mexico in that it's got this whole large complex. There's a lot to walk around, there's a lot to do. But it's not quite as spread out as Mexico, so I kind of like that because you could easily get over to the Bavaro Theater, you could easily get over to the Privilege Club Lounge, you could easily get to places, whereas when we've gone to Mexico, it's a lot more spread out, which can be good if you want to relax and chill and have a little bit more peace and quiet, which that's what Cien Can's great for at the Mexican resort. But for me, overall, the Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, Bahia Resort's the best. Riviera Maya, Dominican Republic, specifically Cien Can, is, you know, 2. Runaway Bay, meh. There's 2 resorts in this chain that we will definitely be going back to multiple times. 1, unless something significant changes down there, probably not. So that should tell you all you need to know. Okay, if you bared with me this long, I really appreciate it. Thank you. This was just, I was trying to give like a little summary, a little wrap up of the trip, but I probably talked for way too long as it was, so I'm going to quit now. If you have questions we didn't answer, feel free to drop those in the chat down below. If we get enough, maybe when Jessica's feeling better, we'll do like a Q&A video where we'll answer the questions together. If not, you know, I'll always answer in the comments. I always try to respond to comments when I can. I've also got social media. If you don't feel like comfortable like leaving a public YouTube comment, you can shoot me a DM on Twitter or Instagram, something like that. Links are all going to be down below. But I appreciate you all watching this. These videos have become like a big part of the channel that I never really foresaw becoming a big part of the channel. Like, once again, like I said at the start, kind of never really factored in that people would watch these videos to help make their decisions on their own travels. But hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was not, apologies for wasting your time, but you know, this is what we're here for. We try to help, we try to make fun, we try to have fun on our own, but we also try to, you know, document the fun, and hopefully it can help other people. So appreciate you watching. If you haven't watched the videos in the series, feel free to go back and watch those. There will obviously be more to come, you know, because I think now the big goal for us is we're going to try to get through our Bahia weeks that we have pre-purchased through Privilege Club. You know, it's going to take a while, but we're going to try to do maybe 2, maybe 3 trips a year, maybe loan some trips out to some other people. Once again, DM me if you're interested. But because we want to try some other resorts. We love Bahia, it's been great, but you know, there's always an itch to try something new, so who knows. Stay tuned, because whatever happens, it's going to be documented here on the channel. Subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on for notifications. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Till then, enjoy your life. Now it's time for the sad, final, official last act of each Bahia all-inclusive vacation. It's over.